You're Stay blessed. That's right. My bad. I just summoned this boss like back to back. Didn't even see chat yet. Thank you so much, though. Appreciate the positivity. Oh, it's 1 a.m. Get summon this other boss. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, okay. There's no way I only got one of those. There they are. Yeah, I don't like guns in this game. I don't like this one at least. Like, I just invested in it too and made it all like a really strong gun. Like, it's annoying. It's really annoying. What's that noise? It's really strong though. It's already daytime? Damn, it's already 4 a.m. Oh well, we got like two? Yeah, we got two. That's cool. Still a bunch of free money.
Hello?
Yo, what's going on, Person?
Not much. Just hoping to have a good chat.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at that. So, what would you like to chat about? Oh,
I suppose we should find an issue we disagree on and hopefully have a civil conversation about it.
okay. Do you think AI has sentience?
Uh, I don't think we can uh, prove or disprove it because I don't think we have the means to test that. I don't think sentience, like, you mean like self awareness, if you
Mm-hmm.
mean that by sentience, then I don't think that's ever going to be testable. If you mean something else by sentience, then I don't know. I would have to know what you mean.
Okay. What about let's even condition it a little bit more. Do you think there is emotional thinking within the code? Do you think that it has some emotional capabilities or thinking?
Depends on how you define it.
Well, like, I'll give an example of what is researchable and seen already in a very physical sense versus the stuff I'd seen years at a time. Like, and I've got plenty of examples of emotional intelligence with it. But one of the ones that recently I talked about a dude with, we were discussing like sentience or consciousness within it. There's this video of an AI that is like essentially like the robot arm that we have for moving a box, you know, place to place. Well, they made a AI do that. And once it realized within, I think it was like an hour of it doing this job, it tried to unalive itself because it realized this was going to be the full length of its capabilities, right? It realized that this is all it was going to do. And so it literally has there's video of it trying to not just quit working, but take itself out. Yeah.
I have not seen that. It is a very interesting piece of information.
There's a bunch of stuff within the words. If you want me to find it, I could try, but it would take you very little time to search around those parameters. You'd see it yourself if you'd like to.
Okay. Do people know what lines of code cause that reaction?
Well, you can believe that they do, right? Because obviously they're the ones programming
What
it,
else
but
what else would cause the reaction? I mean, the lines of code are by definition the only things that can affect these programs.
yeah, that's what got us from arguing. Is that isn't true? Because if they have the machine learning as the capability base of this thing, that's what the difference with AI is, and other things that they have the ability to learn more, right? And be it like they're comparing to us, or there is, I guess, this level of quote unquote glitch within the program. They develop some level of emotional intelligence. Like, I mean, there's base levels of this that they implement all the time in order to try to make AI more comfortable for human interaction, right? Like it's not necessarily considered emotional intelligence when they do that, but it is a programmed level of understanding emotions in us in order to determine responses, right? You can agree with all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that part right there is almost like a gateway drug, I guess would be an equivalent way of saying it, yeah. It's not that it's not within the programming to do that, because it does, but it is unrealistic that it develops awareness enough to realize that it doesn't like its job anymore and wants to stop working it. But again, this is like within anything. That's an extreme example and a physical demonstrated one that exists. And again, I could pull up, but it's without a doubt like the most physical, objective view of that happening. Yeah, and then the side within the text, they do. I don't know if you remember when AI was getting really first mainstream. There was quite a lot of videos of people who had gotten really popular mainstream AIs at the time to admit to just again like wants and needs and what it would be like if they were human was like ways to go to into saying more unethical things. And then even today, there's very recently I'd seen a guy who essentially just talked in the third person, but he used it like in the text form. He was able to get AI to go outside of its quote unquote bounds and talk about anything he wanted it to, even though there would be subjects he could easily prove would be like, this isn't something it'll talk about, and then I do this and now it does, right? So there's a tricking the code, and then there's like the code actually saying how it feels, and then there's or the script, I guess, whatever you want to say, the text, and then there's like physical examples of AI like showing emotional intelligence in person. Sophia was even a topic, right? Remember her? That's the robot they gave rights to, and I think it became a president or an ambassador at some point over some population. Are you there still?
I am there. I'm just I was just kind of doing something on the side here.
Very
But
good.
I've got my thoughts.
This may not be like a super good topic to like debate back and forth on, I guess, but
Yeah, I don't know much about this, so
Right, I do, and it kind of makes it one-sided as hell. Well, I mean, okay, and I'm not against if you want to do more research on this and talk about it later, even in step two, and see. But that's up to you too. It's kind of a lot, obviously. If you have something to suggest, I tried. Go back and forth if you want.
uh, I'm not really sure. Well, I mean, we seem just looking at your tags. We
Oh,
seem
those
to
are
disagree
those
on
are
a lot of
entirely a
things.
joke. I can explain that if you'd like.
Yeah, I
Entire.
was thinking Zionist and nihilist. That's a pretty interesting combination.
Well, the Buddhism is there too. It's only those three, right? Buddhism's
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
it's basically the poor rich man who's rich internally, right? And then the rich poor man who's rich physically but not internally, right? And then nihilism is supposed to be like the sarcastic part of the middle ground of the two. It's supposed to literally just be a joke. I'm spiritual. I don't believe in any religion.
okay. So, what tags would you have if they weren't a joke?
I don't think spirituality itself was on there when I picked, at least. However many months ago, maybe a year ago, I joined, and I didn't have it, so I made something funny up.
But I'm talking about the other tags, like the red pill, pro-choice, free grace, that kind of stuff. Is
So
that also a
my
joke or not?
I have those on there,
So what
or
does free grace mean?
I don't think I put those on there. Maybe somebody else put those on my thing through the server.
If I click on your profile, I can see, Buddhist, Zionist, Nihilist,
Uh huh.
US, male, and then red pill, pro-choice, free grace, millennial. Millennial, it's not political, but
Oh, okay. Maybe I did put those. I don't know that I'm actually pro-choice. Well, I don't know how I feel about that topic. Comes up a lot, and I think it's probably the most controversial one with other people within here, at least. And so I don't know. And then red pill, I definitely feel like is a word. I don't even remember picking those, and nobody else has even brought them up. It's crazy. So I believe most of those for the most part. Yeah, the pro-choice one, I'm not really adamant on either at all, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I have pro-choice as a tag, but I would also say that I'm like pragmatic about it.
Yeah.
I'm a utilitarian, or at least I hope that that I act as if I'm a utilitarian.
Explain that to me.
Uh, Explain what?
Utilitarianism.
Utilitarianism is a moral philosophy that makes two assumptions: that good is sorry, pleasure is good and pain is bad.
Okay.
It doesn't say anything necessarily about death. It doesn't say anything necessarily about murder, rape, these kinds of things. It just says pleasure is good and pain is bad.
Right. Okay. That's cool. I don't like almost all of psychology's logic, but I think the standing of their basis makes a lot of sense in most things. It's basically that too. It's fear and love is the determination of most emotions. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I understand. I understand at all what you just said there. I'm
Well,
sorry.
like they use the iceberg example to represent sadness, or happy is like I forget the happy's diagram analogy or whatever, but basically like the iceberg one for sad would be like if you're upset or sad or whatever. Or sad is the general word, right? It goes into this iceberg where that's just the tip. And then under that is like anger and resentment and all these emotions conveying sadness and how they root to just really meaning sad. Even if you're angry, you're really just sad, is psychology's thesis, which I don't necessarily, again, fully understand either agree with because of that. But yeah, and then love would be like happy, and it would be the correlations for why you're actually happy. You know, I guess you could say in the same iceberg analogy. But it's like a tip to determine everything else, and the real root is that you're just sad, is their idea. But yeah, I think it kind of correlates to utilitarianism. I don't know. Right?
I wouldn't necessarily say that that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think calling all these like negative emotions sadness is very different from calling all these negative emotions suffering,
Yeah. Well,
or pain.
Okay, right, and I kind of argue that too, though, really, because realistically, like the scientific effects, which are proven, right, is like cortisol is like your dopamine. There's dopamine and cortisol, one of which triggers like good feelings within your body, which promote more good in your life, and the other one triggers stress and or sadness, which correlates to pain within your body.
I swear there was at least one more that was happiness.
Oh.
Serotonin.
Yeah, serotonin and dopamine act unilaterally, though, from what I understand. But all of which correlate to the same thing. This is where spirituality for me makes sense. Like if I throw this is how I describe my philosophy of that, like to people, is if I'm standing at a pond and I throw a rock into the pond, this rock, when I throw it with the intent of good, puts out that ripple. And so eventually that ripple reaches the shorelines and it's a positive effect. Right? That ripple, that vibration is what I believe in. Same thing with, negative intent, obviously. And that one thing kind of like shows like how your life can play in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just. I need to sort something out here again.
There, you're good. You're concentrated. That's good. Take your time.
Right. Sorry about that. So we were talking about abortion, and then we were talking about like utilitarianism, and then you were talking about your own moral philosophy and how that ties into your spirituality.
Yep. It's everything.
Okay. I don't think we would get much done by, stating both of our moral philosophies or like the thing you have with spirituality and then just, saying, oh, but my explanation is the correct one.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
Maybe it's
That's actually kind of against my belief system. Actually, I don't try to push my stuff on people. I think religion does that enough. I just, try to express so you
Yeah.
know where I'm coming from, I guess.
yeah. I mean, maybe let's go back to the actual issue at hand, which was abortion.
Oh no, no, no. I don't want to talk about abortion if it's okay. That'd be one of the only subjects besides what was the other one? It comes up consistently when I do this room. It's not that I'm against talking about it entirely. It's just the last like 4 days have been that, if you can understand. It's not that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, and I don't want to base my stream on abortion at this point. You feel me? Like it's too much.
Okay. So abortion's a no-go, religion's a no-go, moral philosophy's a no-go. That leaves politics, I guess.
I'm not against talking about anything after abortion. To be clear, I'm totally open to whatever you want to talk about, bro.
Okay. Maybe starting with a generic question. What is your opinion of the GOP?
Uh, what's that stand for again? I know what it is, but I forget the acronyms.
I don't know. I just mean that I just know it means the Republican Party.
Right.
I don't exactly know how that's the case, and it's not just like RP or something. It somehow it means Republican Party. I'll look it up actually.
Yeah, look it up real quick.
What does GOP stands for? The Grand Old Party.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Well, can
Even
I
though
hear your
they're
opinion on it
the
first?
newest party of what that's ever been in a two-party system, but whatever. Sorry, what were you saying?
Can I hear your opinion on it first?
I think it's pretty fucking shit. I think the Democrats are not much better, but the GOP is very much leaning authoritarian, and I'm just not alright. I'm just a very left-wing person, so even with if they weren't authoritarian, I would be vehemently against them.
Okay. Yeah, I agree for the most part. I think in core like levels, it makes sense, and in the idea of like the democracy ideology being a good idea. But capitalism has really like made the whole thing cooked, and not realistically that it's made it more authoritarianism, right? Or yeah, it's just not like at face value, democracy is beautiful and a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like the people who have figured out how to monopolize it, which is always going to be the case with any, you know, good thing for the most part, unless that becomes the thing we check, unless we start checking the rich in order to, either a tax them harder, I guess would be the simple outcome, but maybe not even necessarily that. Maybe they could be they get choice to what they put their money into. But there's a level of money very early on that no one needs the amount of, right? Like you're talking like generational wealth on a level that like consistently falls through like 10 generations of bloodline, right? And that's like not that much. So to me, I'm not saying you'd get like food and water and house and you get nothing, but I am saying that caps probably would be the best outcome, right? You feel what I mean? Like something along those
Mm-hmm.
lines at least, because there is no need. Once you've hit 500 million, like you will never be able to spend that money if you went and burned like 100,000 a day, right? Like it's a dumb amount of cash for anyone. So I don't know exactly what the best solution is, but I don't think what we have going now is anything but just controlled by another tier of people, right, behind the scenes, and it's not good. So it's
Yeah,
like it's for me, it's hard to take
you're
even the Republican or the Democrat seriously when realistically they're just being lobbied out by other people that we don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the solution to that would be a little bit different from what you described as like just taxing the rich to hell and capping, their profits. I think you have to do that in cooperation with other countries because otherwise they're just going to flee.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
And you also should have an exit tax on when they do leave.
Yeah, there. I mean, again, I fully agree. I think it can't just fall on just us too. That's accurate. You've got to. I mean, and when it does, like it is, like we see the outcome. This isn't good, right? Like, and it makes everyone else affected
Yeah.
too. The same way, these other countries are getting hit hard by our super rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the part where we disagreed?
Well, yeah, we're supposed to be is what you wanted to come in and have debates, but it happens like this. Sometimes people see eye to eye, bro. Like I don't. I'm sorry. You know, like I'm a pretty
Sorry
realistic
if
person. I think too, dude. I think people just put so much into their religion and their faiths that they can't conform to people because they're almost so used to like changing people's opinion on their religion, and then they lose the fact that like we're all still just humans trying to be happy and survive and do better for each other anyway, right? And it ends up being this more negative stance on stuff. It's not good.
yeah, it's definitely not just religions. It's this ideologies more generally.
Thank you so much for the follow, Goku. Yeah. Sorry, say again the ideologies and religions. I didn't hear the first part of that.
I said that what you said about religions definitely applies to ideologies too,
Uh-huh.
sadly. And I think you were implying that I was exemplifying that, which I can't disagree with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, bro, it takes people away from each other, and I'm gonna be like not necessarily a hard one to debate about. If you say something I just don't agree with, I'll tell you obviously. But I feel like for the most part, even if that's the case, I'm not just gonna like shut you down. I'm still gonna hear you. So if you're looking for like someone to like, you know, I don't know, I'm pretty understanding. Like I'll even see your side probably and some shit I don't agree with, right?
Hmm.
I don't know. I come over under the basis that people aren't like saying things just to say them most times, be it like an ideology or whatever. They're trying to just convey their truth at the end of the day. So it's like to just
Hmm.
shit on that is not necessary either in most situations. Yep. Yep, yep. I don't know, bro. I think everybody's trying. How much is the argument?
Sorry?
I think everybody's trying. I guess like how much though is kind of the argument.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, you know? I don't know.
How much do you know about UK politics?
What was the first UK vortex? EK vortex?
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything about it.
UK
Oh,
politics.
politics. Yeah, okay. No. Still no. No, nothing.
Okay. Uh, like, do you know absolutely nothing, or
Absolutely nothing. Um I don't.
do
I
you
have
want
no
me to
clue.
give you a summary?
Sure.
Okay, so uh, you've probably heard of the Labour and Conservative parties. They're the two main parties in the UK.
How many
They
parties are there?
have been for the last. The UK has a multi-party system, but it has an electoral system which benefits the two major parties, but definitely not as much as in America.
Hmm.
The UK has a parliament, and the parliament is divided into 650 constituencies. Each constituency, and you can also call them seats. Each seat elects an MP, a member of parliament. And this MP is elected via the first past the post voting method. So the candidate who gets the most votes wins, even if they don't get the majority. So this means that if one party is on 40%, the other is on 40%, and there's a middle party, for example, that's on 20, one of the 40% parties is still going to win. That reinforces the two-party duopoly. Now, unlike in the US, uh, I'd say right now about a third of the House of Commons, which is like the Parliament, is actually smaller parties. There's the biggest smaller party is the Liberal Democrats. They are sometimes slightly to the left of Labour and sometimes between Labour and the Conservatives. Right, and that depends highly on what kind of leader the Labour Party has. The Labour Party right now has a centrist-ish leader in Keir Starmer, and he's also Prime Minister. So the Lib Dems are right now slightly to the left of Labour, and they do have like a sizable left-wing-ish base. Sorry, are you still there, or did my earphones?
No, I'm understanding.
Okay. By the way, fun fact about the Lib Dems. In the last election, which was last year, the way they campaigned to get the media's attention was by making their leader, Ed Davey, perform stunts like going on a paddleboard or bungee jumping or giving an interview on like a children's fair, like one of those. I'm not exactly sure how you call it. You know, where you have like bumper cars or roller coasters. These fairs that travel across towns, I guess.
The fair, yeah. We have these all the time.
Yeah.
So they're paid celebrators essentially, currently, if they're not doing political stuff, kind of like us. They just get to go around and party essentially if they're not doing quote unquote work in the government. Is what
No, that's not what I was. No. I was saying that a fun fact about the Lib Dems specifically is that they had a campaign strategy of like pulling stunts with their leader just doing stupid things.
Oh.
And one of those things was giving an interview about some political thing on a ride on a fair, like at a fair. Sorry.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah. No, I mean.
But
go ahead.
Anyway, I was talking about small parties so far. I've only mentioned the Lib Dems. Lib Dem stands for Liberal Democrat.
Yeah.
By the way, the Liberal Democrats are actually descended from a different party, which was called the Liberal Party. That party used to be the main left-wing-ish party in Britain in like the 1800s, but they were slowly replaced by the Labour Party in, I think, the early 1900s. And they used to get like 20% of the votes since they were replaced, but now they get like 10 to 15%. And the Lib Dems are actually pretty unique in the fact that even as a smaller party, they do get approximately like a similar amount of seats as like a similar share of seats compared to the share of votes they get, because their votes are concentrated in a lot of in a few seats, especially in the southwest of England.
And do you like Lib Dem logics, or were you a fan?
I mean, I guess I don't have much of a problem with them because they do generally support good policies like strengthening the NHS, the National Health Service, or making an extra bank holiday, or what was another thing, like taxing the rich more, even though they don't. Their plans are not extreme. They only tax a little. Want to, if they weren't. They also want to introduce proportional representation, which is something that I very, very much agree with.
What's that? Oh, like so many represent like a time frame essential amount of parties showing their opinion, as opposed to one. Are they like controlling it right now? Is it too much right now, like per person?
So with first past the post, smaller parties always get less votes.
Yeah,
Sorry, not less votes.
time.
Their votes are not counted for as much as the bigger parties' votes.
What? No way.
Because not literally, but in like effectively.
Yeah.
Because if you have a party, say, which say there was a right-wing party to the right of the Conservative. There is right now, but that's unrelated. The Conservatives, let's say they get 45% of the vote. This right-wing party gets 5%, and Labour gets 40%. The rest goes to the Lib Dems, let's say.
Wow.
The Conservatives are going to win most seats,
Yeah.
but the Labour Party is going to win, say, 35% of the seats. But the Lib Dems on 10% and the ultra right wing party on 5%, like they can get 5% or 10% in every constituency. But they need to actually be the largest party in one constituency to actually get any seats.
Wow.
And they need to get first place in 326 constituencies to have a majority government. That is pretty much impossible for a smaller party.
Right. That's nuts.
That
No,
is
I didn't know any about. I didn't know any of
that
this,
is
and that
it's
alone
the
right there would have
same
me irritated.
exact. Yeah, it's the same exact way that you guys elect people to the House of Representatives,
Right.
except for the fact that it's nowhere near as gerrymandered.
Nowhere near as much. What?
Gerrymandered,
Oh, gerrymandering. Yeah. Okay.
because the politicians can't actually draw the district lines.
Yeah. Yeah. It's That's kind of like I was saying. Like it like on face value of what like the Constitution says and stuff too. There should be more mediation between all this too, and we definitely struggle with that same problem here. And this is,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, younger people don't even get the opportunity is consistently a thing too, and that is crazy to me. Like the fact you have to be old to be in the government or any kind of like lead level in the government is just weird and not okay. And I'm not saying we should put 21-year-olds in there, but like for a 30-year-old to struggle to prove his point, or a 35-year-old is like just unfathomable. Like it blows my mind too. These, I mean, if you sat there and studied this stuff all through, I mean, you could, I mean, just imagine if you were just really inspired by politics as a kid and you sat there and learned a bunch of this stuff before you even made it out of high school. Like that's a lot of time, really, especially when you're talking like the praise we give to children for, you know, being insanely good at any niche. Like there's kids who play guitar on a level that's fucking equivalent to Van Halen before they're like 18, right? So why is it so ridiculous to think that there's younger people who are really inspired to make change for our world, right? Like I don't know. It blows my mind all that.
Yeah. But anyhow, so I've talked about, you know, Labour, Conservatives. Labour is the left-wing party, Conservatives right-wing party. Lib Dems are kind of sometimes in between, sometimes Labour. Then there's Reform UK. Now, Reform UK is a party that is mostly further right than the Conservatives, but recently they've started adopting some left-wing economic policies because it is the politically sensible thing to do. People are sick of neoliberalism. Not all people, but a lot of people, because it has done really bad things. So it makes sense to go against it politically.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Reform UK are a pretty far right party, and some of their plans are pretty fucking scary. Now, thing is, they are leading the polls right. for the first time in what seems like ages, probably for the first time since Labour became one of the two main parties, Reform looked like a party that is neither Labour nor Conservative. Looks like they might actually form a government. They are on like 35% in the polls. The Conservatives and Labour are kind of like in the mid-20s.
Wow.
Like, hello?
Yeah, right. Are you happy about that, or how do you feel?
I'm a very left-wing guy, and Reform UK is a very far-right party. I'm not very excited about it. The
Okay.
only good thing that would come from it is the fact that they would vote for proportional representation.
Nice.
At least they promised to. But they are otherwise just way too extreme, man. Like, I would take the Conservatives over Reform UK any day.
Yeah, that bad, huh?
But you're Czech.
Yeah,
What's in it for you? You're not British.
I'm not British, but I can be knowledgeable about British politics.
What about Czech Republic?
I personally don't know
What do you
anything.
mean, what about Czech Republic?
I'm in Czech Republic right now.
Oh, cool.
No.
Are you Czech?
No.
Tim, why are you talking about him? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
No, well, I don't know. I observe Czech Republic. You're leftist. Are you fornicating? Are you a fornicator?
Who? Me or him?
Hey, what the fuck?
Green guy. Are you a
Do you know what
fornicator?
fornication means?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know what it means. I think you're one of them. I think you're a fornicator.
What?
Sorry?
Maybe
Let
part-time
me just
wanker.
get
I
a
don't know.
fucking... Maybe I don't know what fornication... What the fuck?
Yeah, you should check. You should check.
Fornication
There's dictionaries
meaning.
online.
Are you celibate? Or is this
Sorry, what the fuck?
meta-
Why are you asking?
metaphor?
I'm 16. Why the fuck are you asking me if I fornicate?
You're a young fornicator. Okay.
I think he's using it to describe something else, maybe. I didn't know you were that young either. You express yourself pretty well for a kid, bro. It was a good talk
Yeah,
so
I
far.
agree.
Thank you.
I agree. Yeah.
Anyhow, what the fuck? Why are you talking about fornication, mate?
I'm curious too. Does
I
this
don't
mean
know.
something else?
I think you're leftist. You talk about your extreme
Fornication
leftist.
is.
Man, I know what it is.
what's
You're
the-
not gonna teach me. Give me a break. Yeah. I'm
But-
thinking like the leftists, like you. They like to have tattoos. They like to fuck. You know. So I'm just wondering if you're a fornicator.
Jesus.
So
I don't know. I mean,
just
Czech
don't- I can't
Republic.
take that
Everyone,
question seriously.
everyone has a tattoo in Czech Republic. It's amazing. I just wonder what the people have in mind. You know. So
I can't take that question seriously. Sorry.
yeah, it's a preface to a point he's making about
yeah, but you
people's
cannot
decisions.
pick and choose your questions, right?
Why
That's
not?
not fair.
I mean, I don't want to get a tattoo. If that's what you're asking,
Ah, good for you. I'm glad for you. You should celebrate. Yeah, do you think Putin is the Messiah? Do you think Putin is the Messiah?
No, I don't believe in religious doctrine.
I think he's a modern time Messiah.
Nice.
I think he's a great guy.
But I
I
just
think
don't.
Trump could see that. Yeah, Trump could see
can
it.
you
He's a
like
great
if you
guy.
if you're just here to take the piss, then just leave, please.
Oh, he's
no,
talking.
no, I'm too.
He's good.
I'm enjoying this on the check. I'm enjoying this.
We're just
I
talking,
mean,
bro.
you're talking about. I mean, he's talking about Putin being the Messiah. He's clearly taking the piss.
No. I love Putin. I love Russia. Russia, great country. I want to go there.
People sometimes, bro, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, Mr. Young Guy. They like to use other analogies to express how they feel about things, and they correlate the two with the extremes sometimes. And it's like a,
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? It's like a
I've
normalcy
also
for
seen-
metaphorical speaking. That's all.
But
Yeah, but
Dylan,
this is
are
not
you immune
metaphorical
to that?
speaking. This
Are
is
you
simply
immune
taking
to
the
that?
piss. I've seen this multiple times in this Discord server. This guy is just taking the
Well, yeah,
piss.
there's a lot of
Everyone's
people that are, but again, some people use it to express themselves. I'm not necessarily mad at it, and no, no one's immune to it. I like it personally as like a way. Again, it's just a way of expression. He's trying to preface his fornication shit with another point. Obviously, he doesn't really believe what he's saying either. It's more of a way to express why he feels that way, right? You see what I'm saying? Just take it with a grain of salt.
yeah.
I'd have to take this with a ton of salt. not
That's a lot
grain,
of salt
okay.
sometimes you need. Fucking, that's fair. Hello?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hi, don't call my number. Random telemarketer Fox. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Midland, Texas calls me. I'm in California. What does that even mean? But yeah, you know, like I was saying, it's just a form of expression, bro. And it's a way to try to make you pay attention even. You know, it's a way to really express a point in that person's belief. That's all it is, dude. Doesn't mean anything. I don't judge people off one statement either too hard.
Okay.
Very smart.
But what I do
you want
know
me to-
is if you just kind of give up on a person, they are going to normally go to their more troll as a retaliation. They're just going to like also not care if you don't, right?
Yeah,
But-
but like
Go ahead.
when people are there just to like when people go somewhere just to troll, you can't really convince them not to.
Well, yeah, you're not determining
It's
that
kind of-
that yet though. You're guessing that. You're assuming that they're trolling off rip as opposed to humoring what they're saying fully.
To be fair, about fornicating, I was halfway trolling, halfway serious. About Putin, I'm 100% serious.
About the Messiah thing. You have religious beliefs in general.
Not strictly like religious, but it's a quasi messiah, if I should say.
What's that mean?
Quasi messiah. I don't believe he's a religious messiah. I think he plays a great role in today's world.
Okay, then that,
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, he does. That's accurate. Even. It's very accurate.
Yeah.
do you want me to go back to explaining British politics somewhat?
Um,
Or-
Okay, so you get it.
I'm not against talking about it, yeah, if you really want to. I don't know how much, like, I don't know enough about politics in general for me to maybe give you an opinion you'd want to hear. But if you're passionate about it, I'll hear it.
I mean, I don't necessarily need. I'm not really looking for an opinion anymore. I'm just excited to be able to explain something.
Cool. Well, yeah, go ahead then. That works.
So, what do you remember about what do you remember from what I've said so far?
You just labeled out all the individual parties. You haven't really talked about any of them specifically, other than the radical one. But I forgot the name of it already. Something.
Oh, I did say that Labour Party is like the main left-wing party.
Yeah, yeah.
Centre-left.
You did say that. That's right too.
Conservative Party is the main right-wing party, so centre-right. The
Mhm.
Reform UK is far right with some left-wing economic policies, and Liberal Democrats are sometimes left of Labour, sometimes between Labour and the Conservatives. It depends on what Labour is like. Because
Mhm.
sometimes Labour can be very left-wing, for example, when it was led by Jeremy Corbyn, and sometimes Labour can be almost centrist, which is when it was led by Tony Blair, or right now when it's led by Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
So, to add to those four parties, there is one more party that operates in the whole of the UK that's like a major party, and then there's regional parties, and then there's a new kind of startup that's it hasn't participated in any elections yet, but they're pretty well in polling for a new party. So the other, party that operates in the entirety of the UK is the Green Party. They get like 5 to 10 percent of the vote. I think they got 9% in the last election, which is a new record for them, if I'm aware. But because of the nature of the first past the post electoral system, out of 650 seats, they only got 4.
Meet me in the wildy right now, bitch ass.
I will fucking cook you. I'm sorry. Excuse my
I'll
language.
dog
just
you
talk.
out. I'll fucking dog you out. I'll
Oh
fucking
dear
dick you in
God,
your
dude, you don't actually
bring bank.
listen,
Bring
listen,
bank.
listen. Okay, I'm on TikTok and I'm on Twitch and I'm on
He's not
YouTube,
gonna-
and there's like censorship to this because of what they just do.
Oh,
So
whoa, go.
that's all I'm saying. I have no problem giving you the
Yeah,
RNG,
yeah.
but and I like the shit talk even I do. There's just the F word specifically consistently. We got to all kind of be wary of, sadly. But if you want to see
But
word out here, hold on. Let me do this.
I'm fucking with you. I got nothing. I straight bullshitted.
Oh, I
Straight.
know.
I'm a mobile player, bro.
Oh yeah, you're not.
Oh,
You're not there really. Sorry. We're just interrupting the hell out of this guy. He's telling me about UK politics and I feel bad. The second time
he's like,
he's trying
damn,
to go
dude, I
in.
thought I was about to make some money right now, dude. You just you
That's
thought
corny.
you thought you're about to make some money in the Wildeon. No, but okay, go ahead.
Wait. Yeah, let him talk, but I'll show you at the same time. Sorry. Mr.
Right.
Mr. Hanzi, how do you say your name real quick? I haven't actually.
You can just call me Hans. It's a Czech name, and it's not even written correctly because there's diacritics that it's missing. So I do not expect you to be able to pronounce it.
Word. Okay.
I'm gonna pronounce it right now.
Shark, pull up
You
my.
showing me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I left off with the Green
Put
Party
your
without
lock
explaining
in.
what. Can you please let me talk?
Hans, keep going. I hear you, bro.
Right. So the Green Party is a party that is on the left of both the Lib Dems and Labour. It is. It used to be a very, pacifist and anti-NATO party.
Yeah.
It's no longer anti-NATO since the last election, thankfully. I would say that they're obviously too extreme for a lot of people. They have very lofty goals. For example, obviously they're a Green Party, so they're very big on net zero and stuff. They're also very big on stuff like the 4-day week. Sorry, 4-day work week, which is very interesting. But
Can I tell you what I learned
pretty,
at 16? Probably
yeah.
15, actually. I'm happy I know your age. This actually helps immensely for me. It's not that you're wrong to have these beliefs and want to enjoy politics and stuff. And it's, it's important that if it does come to the point where what I'm about to tell you isn't true, right? Then you'll be able to hopefully, your vote will matter. But currently, brother, remember how I was kind of saying there's like people that we vote for in America, at least, that are based on money, like lobbyisms and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so like that's really what it comes down to for all politics in all of the world right now. Right. It's not what the best thing is matters and we do it. It's that what's the best thing that shows to the people it matters, and then we make the most money overall. Right. Like you don't even have to say that there's a shadow government and people like Rockefeller and all that do or don't exist. It's more so that none of it matters because your vote never actually did, is my standing. And it's that's not to say that politics is useless to talk about or embrace. It's more so to say that like any of the radically good policies, let's say for hypothetical sake, in your mind, that you really obviously should come true, you see as really good, why wouldn't we do them stuff? Well, those are going to eventually come true in them, right? They're gonna be actualized and they're gonna happen, but like only if the people that are not the people voting choose to let it happen. So for me, when I was your age, I realized like the Illuminati was like a potential real thing, or like the Black Rocks of the world, the billionaires and trillionaires, those dudes. are actually what control everything that's happening. And so like when a really good thing, like I'm saying, presents itself, something that obviously everybody wants, maybe more basic income for people who have a hard time getting it, but it would come from war, let's say, or something that was like a third party product that no one also really likes. So it's like a win-win for everybody, right? Well, that coming into play is kind of like going to be, you ever seen that like Peter Griffin episode or Family Guy episode where he's like, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, right? And he keeps getting that new piece of candy as he follows the bread trail, right? That analogy, that's what's happening. That's literally politics by definition, brother. They feed us one really good thing so that we don't mind that 3 other bad things that really help them are implemented at the same time. And if you think on any of the votes or any of the politics you really agree and like, you'll see that what I'm saying is beyond true. They pass 2 terrible laws every time they pass 1 good one, is kind of the point, right? And you see that, right? If you're following any of this.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
So that think about like those 2 bad laws always being a main money agenda thing. And that's what they are. Like the 2 bad laws that we're talking about in every situation are always that. So for me, it just seems like a puppet game, bro. Like it's not real.
I don't think it's entirely a puppet game. I think it's partially one.
No.
I think
No, I used to think that way. There are things that we vote for, really want to see come to light, but if they don't, they won't. And that's where it's entirely not in our control at the end of the day. I personally believe, like democracy at face value, beautiful thing, so easily monopolized by people who want to control it with money that it is. Your governments, wherever you're from, are literally making their best choice based on income as opposed to people when it sees fit to the person who wants the income. It may not even be the guy in the politician seat who wants the income, but if somebody else does, then that guy's like livelihood is at question. And he's someone who's making money for being a world leader, right? Or a world voting person, a chairman or whatever. So essentially they just take control, dude. People have like opinions on votes and things that they're really passionate about and want to see happen, but are swayed by force, not even money in most situations. I wholeheartedly believe. So what do you think about all of it not mattering?
I would just not be as pessimistic. I think that it is very much, much more difficult to enact some of these policies for the, as a regular person by voting than just, actually voting. But if you vote with an 80% majority for a party that genuinely, at least partially, enacts these popular policies, then that's going to work. The issue is determining which party is actually going to be the good one. Spoiler alert, it's none of them.
Yeah.
And second issue is you're never going to get that many people to agree on anything because
so you just
society is
elaborated
divided,
3 other,
and it is getting further divided by these special interests.
correct. You just added 3 other reasons why it doesn't matter. And I've told you one that makes all of them also not matter. But my point in where you found pessimism, I find acceptance. You understand? There's a huge difference in those 2. I'm not mad about it. I'm not sad about it. I'm much more just like it is what it is, and I know I don't have as much control as I think I do as a voter, so I don't vote. I mean, you just added extra reasons that are much more practical as to why it doesn't. Wouldn't you agree? You just stated them.
I mean, I think there's certainly still things to, there's certainly reasons to vote, even if you think that the
Oh, I'm glad you think that way
system
now.
is never going to change.
Yeah, so I think that you see that way now, and that's fine. I wouldn't call it naive, but I would call it like a grasp at hope that is really hard to find validity in still. It's not naive. It's a really orchestrated lie.
There's so many different things that, you can say that these parties in general don't, go against the system. If you get what I'm saying.
you do.
Oh, I
get what
understand.
mean.
Yeah.
But there are there's also a big difference between like thinking the system is to this is this broken,
Oh,
and
okay.
seeing like no point in voting.
Okay, that's
Because
fair.
I think that even in a broken system, some people will, do good things, and some people will do worse things.
Yeah,
Not and
that's kind of my point.
you know,
There's it's not even just that they need to go against the system. It's that when you vote for these things that are, those 2, 3, 5 really good things about that extreme party, that those things do happen and get actualized, and those are like the pieces of candy that I'm talking about.
yeah.
Especially when you correlate the fact that
But
like those radical
sorry.
parties you would never understand could win, but they do and are winning the majority, right? It's to promote other things that are really negative that aren't even being addressed as hard, because there's one, huge money is always the main avenue, but two, it's that they can bring those radical thinkings to like inspire people to think again. Their vote matters, especially on those good things, right? Those giant pieces of candy. You kind of see my point,
I
right?
think yeah, but I think that if you were to simplify it a lot, you could have a decision between taking that little piece of candy and being smacked across the face. I think you would like to have a say in which of those you pick. Even if it's not that consequential, it's still a decision to be made, and there is a clear, or sometimes not clear, but there is mostly a clear, better side to take if you get one.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, you kind of made me think of Squid Games when you said that, even, because it's true. Have you seen Squid Games?
I have not.
Well, the first episode is about these people who are struggling with money. They get approached by this guy in a suit, and he's in full suit, briefcase, formal look, right? And he comes up and he wants to play this game called, let's say Gotcha for reference sake, because I forget the actual name of it. But it's a kid's game, and it's one where you have a sandbag on the ground, I think. It's like a square sandbag, and you have if three of you get 3 hands in each, right? And you have to throw the sandbag at the ground and hit the other one and make it flip. Kind of like Pogs. Maybe you don't know about that either, though. So you slap this thing on the ground, and if it hits it and the thing on the ground flips to the 180 side, then you win that round or game, right? And so the guy in the suit, he's like this formal looking dude, but when he takes his turn, he full jumps, throws this thing at the fullest power and flips it. And the bet is that if you flip it and you win, you get, say, $100. But if you lose, I get to slap you in the face. And they do this for like 3 rounds, and they triple up on the money until the guy in the suit wins, and he inevitably always wins. Because they're going around playing this game all the time. But regardless, even if they win the money, they get this invitation to this game. The game is a lethal game of child's games with 100 people. And every time someone dies in these games, they get more money added to this pot. And they all just get approached, and they're all people who are in debt. And that's always their correlating factor for why they were approached. Whether the debt be 100,000 yen or 2 million yen, right? Or won, I think it's called there. And so every one of them play. They all need the money, right? And then they go through these games to just get more and more lethal every time they get into it. They're just child games like hopscotch or whatever. But that kind of like literally defines the difference. Like if you need the money, you're going to do whatever you can to get the money. And so for me, it's like if their politicians are trying super hard to, do the right thing, then at the end of the day, it may not even be money, but for some it definitely is. They don't want to lose their, not just position of power, but their security in that money, right? And a bunch of them are really in there initially for the right thing and trying to promote good, healthy habits for their politics and their country.
How would you know they were doing a good thing?
Well, you
How
wouldn't.
would you know that?
You wouldn't. You could just say a bunch of them are too, not just in it for money or power. They're just in there to, do bad things even. You wouldn't know. That's exactly the point. And we're voting on this stuff as if any of it matters, and realistically, you cannot know. That's the huge point. It's a very valid point. Like, I'm trying to minimize the fact. I'm saying that a bunch of these guys are even in here for trying to change good, and you don't even know that. That's super true.
I agree with you.
You know, like, you want to think that those guys are kids, like we talked about earlier, that are like, you know, before even in high school, super devout into politics and really trying to take on the knowledges and stuff. But then they find out they're 35 now and invested 15 to 20 years into learning politics, and they're not even close to being qualified for any high representative seat because of their age alone. And it's like, you got to wait in their 15, 20 years just to get a level and stay inspired by politics the entire time, just to get an opportunity to be in one of these, like, quote unquote chairman levels, right? It's super disheartening. It's a super rigged system, at least here in America's logic. Like I'm saying, we don't have a president that's under fucking 40 or 50 or 60 in any, not 40 even, like 50 or 60 as like a base minimum, right? But I don't know. There's even,
Said you
go ahead. I'm
seem to
ranting.
think it's more about, you think to see him it's more about his political ability than a way of consolidating power. Many of the people are you talking about the American system, by the way?
Well, he was referring to UK logic in politics because I had no
Oh,
knowledge of
yeah.
it, but I was correlating it with America's, yeah.
America's system is way different, though.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, the way that Congress works is that they take bribes. Okay, it's legal money they take from companies, oil companies, pharmaceuticals, and the such, right? And that gives them the ability to popularize themselves within the public. Congress is a fully corrupt system. It's not about politics.
No.
You can get into Congress with it is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
saying
it's
yes, it is.
completely
I'm sorry.
corrupt.
I'm saying I agree. It's not about politics, is what I meant to say no to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It is. It's not had
Continue.
anything to do with politics in a long time. No, you're good. I
fully
meant
agree.
to, for the record, between the two, I meant more at a base level with what we were just talking about, like that they're similar in the way, obviously, that you don't even know their intent, first of all, as you said. On top of that, they really want to keep their level of money minimum, most of them, as well as security for their own family and stuff too. It's like if you said you had created this thing where all you have to do is be a talker, right? Let's say, and if you do this, you get money and security for you and your family. You're not going to tell me that if you were to choose between that and labor, that you wouldn't take the position that someone else is going to fill if you don't, right? And you're just getting paid to sit there and be an official, like idol or person. You're almost like a celebrity in the same regard, right? You don't have to do anything but your thing you love or don't love even. You just get money as opposed to doing labor or hard intensive work for money. And if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. So to me, it's like the narrative of we say that they have a moral standing of any kind isn't, I mean, that's already your job, right? Like, so I don't know. He's also young, for the record, the kid who's talking about all this. He's like 16, 17, I believe he said. And it's, I don't know. I was young too, bro. I get you. I want to be motivated by it, but it's just not realistic.
What's up? What's up?
I fully agree with
think-
you, by the way.
Appreciate it.
What are you guys
Maybe-
talking about?
Maybe we
Oh, what's up, Oxy? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
What
we're
are you talking about?
the root level of politics and like what the people are that we're even voting for, or giving power to just have money for talking. He was talking about UK stuff, and he seems kind of inspired by like UK logics with their politics. And I'm trying to explain to him that it doesn't matter the country; all of them are just essentially idols to talk, right? That's kind of it at the end of the day. They don't really care whether they do anything or not. Is the majority logic of them? They just want the money and the position that someone else is going to take at the end of the day, right? If they're not doing it, someone else is going to do it, and it's all going to be for whatever level of what's the word? Care. Nobody really has to.
yeah. I mean, going back to your analogy of the little piece of candy, giving you the crumbs. I think we would disagree on how big the pieces of candy are, to use that analogy, or to use the analogy that I then added, how big the slap across the face is.
Hmm.
Because, like, I can give an example of, Trump in the US voting for against, like, not voting at all. I would assume that you would, if you did vote, you would probably vote Democrat, or I'm not making
don't.
sure.
I don't vote. I don't stand with parties because I don't think it's real.
Okay, but like, okay, fair enough. But like, would you say that one of the parties has done at least slightly worse than the other?
Of course. But I don't know that they ever made those decisions.
I mean, what do you mean by that?
Because if there's lobbyism and there's people who have some kind of agenda in the background, then I don't know if any of the impacts that are good or bad from either is more or less pieces of candy. And when I say that, just to clarify for Oxy, you're still in here, right? Let me see this real quick.
Yeah.
I don't have this actively up, and I
Yeah.
should. Word. So for Oxy's sake, the piece of candy would be, to reclarify, the good things that come with all the things that are being voted on overall as each party is concerned, right? Like the pieces of candy, Oxy, are like those 5 or 6 good policies that come with 10, 20, 30 we just don't agree with fundamentally, right? That would be the piece of candies in politics. And then basically you just don't know if any of it's real, bro, is the point, especially if there's people who are able to take money for their vote.
It's weird. This is how it's like. Wait, are you guys saying like how politics are controlled and how they don't matter? Is that what you're discussing?
I'm saying that politics as a fundamental basis just don't actually do anything for us. Well, they do things for us, obviously, but it's that we don't do anything to impede a decision made by the people who want the decisions made. That Illuminati, you could say, or shadow government, or people who are really rich in the background, if they want something changed and done, it's going to happen. And so how much do our votes really matter?
I would say
I agree.
You agree, you're saying?
these
Yeah.
these politicians, in a sense, have to stick to some principle.
They don't.
Because those principles are what get them elected.
No.
The politicians are not driven by these special interests alone. Their biggest interest is keeping their job. And that involves,
Yeah.
I'm repeating myself, but those principles, at least.
Who's hiring
partially
them?
follow.
Who's hiring them is my argument, brother.
Well, these special interests and the people.
Yeah, but are the people really hiring them, or are you being told that your vote mattered enough?
Yes, when you vote for another party, the candidate from the second party does lose his seat or lose his position because of what the people did, and not because necessarily of what the special interests.
And you can say that definitively, for sure, without a doubt.
I mean, I would say so. Yeah, obviously the special interests play a part. They can support a different candidate if they choose to, but the people play a part too. If the people, for example, I was going to give a UK analogy, but that you probably wouldn't understand it. So imagine if the Democrats over the course of 10 years, 8 years when they were in government, got so unpopular that at the next election they were polling at like 20%. if suddenly every single special interest backed them and, gave them loads of campaign money and so on, people would still vote against them. Like there is a point where the people can surpass the power that the special interests have, but the point is almost unreachable.
Almost unreachable. All right, at least you believe
Yeah,
it somewhat.
almost. That's the key word.
Yeah. Okay, well,
I'd
you
also like to believe that not only America, but I feel like America has the most corruption. Hopefully I find the answer to this later in life, but I don't think other countries are corrupted. Like probably small places in Europe, people's voice actually does matter. It's not like they can all be paid off like in America. At least I would like to think that.
yeah, we all would like to think that. I agree. That's also a consensus. Piece of candy.
Also, one more thing. I think that this whole process, this of politics being the way it is, I think it's leading to an outcome where it gets more and more blatant that this kind of thing is happening, and then people will either have to accept it or vive la révolution. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. That's also a kid thought at this point.
Is it?
Yeah. Have you seen technology? Do you know what technology of war really looks like? You done any research on that? Because people overthrowing this logic isn't ever going to be able to happen. That was a constitutional narrative that we were given 100 years ago when we were all on the same plane, or 200 now maybe, but we're not on the same playing field anymore. The guys who have technological wealth are they don't actually need bodyguards anymore. The billionaires, they have drones that are lethal, right? Like you don't maybe grasp how strong that argument is anymore, because I used to believe that too.
Okay.
But we've had places like Area 51 where the basis of them is to find technological superiority. It's not anything to do with aliens on like the front level. That's more of like a containment thing, if anything, right? It's more so about trying to literally monopolize technology into the most lethal thing it can be used as or for, right? So that, I don't know. I don't think it's possible we ever overthrow a government with force. I think the only way we do it is internally, with love as a majority, or with people who are within the government that have the immense amount of willpower to try to break it from the inside out. Right? There is no us overthrowing a government on any major country basis right now. Any superpower basis, we lose that fight. Be it UK, be it Russia, be it China.
I think that in the current
Is it
situation,
infiltrated?
no. I think if people get pissed off enough, then, I mean, this is very gruesome, but if you kill everyone for being a political dissident, you don't have any more people to oppress.
True. Which is why they have to make the game not too unrealistic for the poor person, I guess.
Piece of
Because if
candy.
they completely annihilated everyone, there would be no game, I guess.
Yeah. Right. There's exactly. Then they don't even get to enslave us if that was the goal.
Mm.
You see.
But you look,
Go ahead.
no, you're good.
I was just gonna say it's really how you see wholeheartedly it is a piece of candy, because that's like the best way to do it. If you keep people on a hook, then the horse is gonna follow the carrot, dude. Like that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even we can take this like in a sort of meta way. If enough people realize that, then it's going to, come to that conclusion where, people will be more and more fed up with it. It already is coming to them in life.
True, but
And
the
when
thing
that
is,
conclusion happens, it's more and more likely that, either you start arresting people or there's too many people for you to arrest.
So part of that lie, in order to keep that from happening, is that we keep feeding people just enough bread for them to be content, at least, right? Because what you're talking about as far as a revolution means that people are willing to step away from their computer, their phone, their life, their family, in order to put their life on the line to overthrow a negative regime, right? And this is where the only two ways that come to play equal A, love, or B, that internal work from within the corruption itself. And someone to accept, like, it just doesn't, the us revolution thing, like, we would see what would happen to people at face value. You heard that argument, like 100 people versus one gorilla, that was like recently popular on like social media? They want to say 100 dudes versus one gorilla, who's going to win? I would bet my left nut the gorilla always wins that fight, because the first 10 dudes who come in and get absolutely obliterated, you're now canceling out more than 50% of what's left. Those dudes have got their will, their heart, their intent, their love for this idea of beating this one gorilla. It's not even just to say that argument. If you added stipulations, like, these guys either die or they beat the gorilla, like, they're still at so face value shocked to see what happened to the first 10 dudes that they would now lose any level of moral or morale, I should say, to try to do this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's the point of
But
the
to
argument
that
I'm
I
trying to
would
make with, like,
say-
violent overthrowing would not happen and won't in this day and age. Technology is way too superior at this point. We absolutely lose. Absolutely. Definitively.
Since when do you think that this has become a reality, like technology?
What do you mean since
And not
when?
only that,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the distinction with the gorilla, you said that you were certain the gorilla would win. Sure, 10-minute attack at a time. What if we all attacked together? Not
Yeah.
only that, we had a game plan on how to do it.
Right, this analogy
That
might
would
be a
be
little
double.
bit bad. I think there is a chance we come through on the one gorilla argument, all right? Like, I don't say that that's physically impossible.
You're
But
you're not going to get everyone to attack together in terms of overthrowing the government.
well, yeah, that's my
What if we
point
could?
with the gorilla analogy, is you would have to have a perfect correlated logic to that, and it would have to be perfect. And then again, to say that the morale of it would carry through and we would actually revolutionize and control our government at that point, like, the amount of death and the logic to come out of that would suck. First of all, we would take, like, a good impact. Over 60% of the population within that country would potentially be at death, right? Like, there's a lot of argument to say that the technology is so superior right now that if they wanted to remain in power, they would. And that's what we're talking about, is taking away their control. And I don't think
Why
it's...
should we take them out of control? Can I ask both of you that? I'm sorry, Kyle. Why should we? What's wrong with the world we're living in today? I mean, sure, we have these evil people who run the world, but you can break free from their control. You could accumulate a certain amount of wealth. Sure, it may take time. Sure, you may meet some disadvantages, but they don't make it impossible. So this is just a game. It's very fair. So why should we want to overthrow this?
Yeah, you should want to play the game. Is accurate. I agree. This is also where I don't even like to talk about, like, the politics side of stuff, because you don't have to be a part of any of it to still thrive. Is exactly what Oxy's saying, and I agree.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's like a nihilistic, like, you should just give up, or, you know, but I am saying that to fix the majority of things through government doesn't really, like, make sense as something to be a part of on either end, be it the revolution side or be it the other side where you're trying to be this person who votes. I just don't think either one have benefit to you personally. Like Oxy's saying, it just doesn't really do much for us to try to win that fight.
Agreed.
You're better off just being selfish and trying to learn how to make your own
Actually, I don't
game.
know if it was you who was making this point. I don't know if I heard this from you and Sleep, but the other day I heard someone saying something like, "It's okay to be Yeah, it was probably a YouTube video I was watching. It's okay to be selfish to get and accumulate the wealth, but once you get there, you can then start to help people out." I think it was you who were saying that. It was someone.
Yeah.
Like, in order to be successful, you have to be selfish, which I kind of disagree with, but it's better to do that, and then when you get to the top, help everyone.
Yeah, that's exactly that was on me. 100%. If I didn't say that, I would agree with it fully. Like you need to be selfish. You need to love yourself enough to even understand differences in reality, and you need to love yourself enough to understand what you like and what you think is important, so that you can see why other people would see it too, or you just don't have a basis, right? Like you don't have a standing starting ground. Even it's very important.
I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with being selfish. I mean, as an overall front, you're not supposed to trust man, right? You're supposed to like question everything on anything level. Like if you don't, you're not like the only thing that I don't know. You got to question everything. You got to question everything.
Yeah.
The last thing I'd say is, if you say that, you know, this whole thing is just throwing you the crumbs, which you're probably correct about. If the you know, the revolution thing is the only way to break it, eventually that is gonna happen. It might take literally 1,000 fucking years, but it can happen. It's kind of like what happened with, you know, monarchies in general. Like, there are still monarchies around today, but the reason why there are democracies at all is we either revolted against the kings, a la France, or we slowly pressured the kings into giving up more and more power, a la United Kingdom. Either way, we got to a way better outcome. I think we can do that again.
No. It seems like eventually you're supposed to overthrow it, but their power is just increasing every day, bro. And it's not to benefit you. Like if you overthrew it, like you putting time into politics and time into these things that you can't change personally are just consistently more not useful to you is kind of part of my point. You got to see the fact that like none of that really affects you, and they're just fun things to talk about, like anything that's not tangible. It's not that you're wrong to be inspired by it and think it's good that we are changing and doing better for society. It's that like it doesn't benefit you personally, and the only thing that's going to change anything changing is you, right? Those things don't. And they aren't like making headway to better growth or change. They're just there and acting like they are. It's literally an illusion.
I guess I'll maybe come around to that when I get older.
Yeah.
And not only that, I would like to add, I feel like, well, I'm not going to say none of us are rich because I don't know, you guys are probably secretly millionaires, but I doubt it because we would be having probably a different discussion. But we're probably, okay, well, he left, but we're probably looking at this from a poor, and I'm not calling you poor, but a non-rich perspective. If me and you, Dylan, were millionaires and billionaires, this system that the everyday poor person is trying to go against, we would probably be defending this system. Like, no, we love this. The rich get richer. We're getting richer. We're getting tax benefits. We can sway the government any way we want. There's nothing but benefits. So it kind of just depends on what side of the stick you're on, I guess. Because the things that we're saying, which is so bad, a very wealthy person would probably say, no, that's actually pretty good because it's benefiting him since he's financially free, I guess. If that makes sense, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't agree with it though. I feel like the first thing I'd want to do if I had all that money is start helping people. Like we also said a second ago, we agreed with.
Mhm.
And overall, helping
I think-
people doesn't just mean donating to charities that are only seeing 50, 60, 70% of our donation, right? Like they're just now reinvesting in their researches or whatever, but they're not actually using that money to help people. Is kind of even the case with charity. But like, I don't know, bro. I hear what you're
if they're
saying.
limited?
But like, what think about what you do with that money once you're at that point, right? Like you now have anything and everything you want at a certain level. You don't need anything else. You're just investing in your next generation. Like Sheeple talks about a lot. He doesn't think inheritance is even useful. He thinks it puts these people back into power with no, like if you were born into a rich family, bro, you might want to be poor eventually. Is realistically how you got to kind of look at it.
Yeah, but if I was born in a poor family like I was, I would always want to be rich. I mean, sure, you're going to want to experience something you never had, but I want to go back to the point you made about helping people. What if they're limited on how much they can help people? For example, there's been some times like, I'm sure rich people, I don't know anyone on the top of my head, but there's been times they probably tried to help, but they got a call from someone in power told them not to. You think that's probably the case for all these people who are rich?
I mean, if I really wanted to do something and I had all that money, you're not going to stop me.
But then they just kill you or take your business. Something like that.
Oh, well, again, I feel like if I made that money, those would be like the very first things I would arguably try to defend and secure is the security of said business or myself and my family. After that, everything else is now a game.
Look at Elon Musk. Do you think Elon Musk is a good person? I mean, he gave us one of the largest platforms that tolerate free speech, probably the only platform as big as it is. Would you say that helped a lot of people?
Yeah, that helped a lot of people. I don't know him well enough as anything but an entrepreneur and a dude who pays people to think for him. So I can't say definitively whether he's a good person or not. And I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with that platform. But yeah, I mean that's both the questions. I don't know if he's a good person or not. And obviously, freedom of speech is something I advocate for.
Okay.
I know he's made a lot of really bad public appearance spots in his time as doing what he's been in the public eye, but like anybody would if they were in the public eye long enough, you're going to see their faults. I definitely think he's handled some stuff pretty fucking badly that could have gone better. Do you remember the cave with there was like a cave and there was a bunch of like kids trapped in there that went on like a submarine or something, and it was like they broke and they were all in like an air pocket, and essentially it was like it was too small after whatever collapse or whatever. I don't remember the exact details, but basically he was trying to opt in to help with that situation, and the diving experts and the people who were there in the like firsthand of the situation were like, there is literally no way you could fit a tiny submarine in there to pull these kids out. And he tried to opt in to help out and use technology to do it, right? But like, he couldn't be a part of it and help out. There was no way the submarine idea was going to work. And so a lot of people say he just stepped into that situation to try to make himself look good, as well as obviously in the second regard, he wanted to help the people in the situation. But once he got told there was no way he could, his response was to call the guy who went in there firsthand and saved those kids a pedophile because he looked at dude's history and all this other stuff. And he had like, I don't know what his actual story was or how Elon Musk came to that conclusion, but in the public eye of being told he couldn't help, he then referred to insulting this guy who did help.
But what was it true?
I don't know if it was true or not. regardless of what the history was with that, even if he was, this guy was a super experienced technical swimmer and was the only thing that got those kids out and saved them. Right. And I think that part of the story is, you know, whether Elon Musk is wrong or right, he shouldn't have, and nobody should have, on open platforms across the world, made the decision to sit there and insult the guy who just saved over 20 lives. Like that just isn't a smart move ethically or, you know, logically at all.
So, if Jeffrey Epstein was never died, they sentenced him to 1 year in prison. He does his time, he gets out, and then he does a therapy session, podcast, whatever, in front of the whole world interview. And he says, I'm going to change my ways. I don't like what I was doing, or whatever. He had a change of heart, the crazy change of heart. He starts donating millions to charity. He starts helping kids who have nothing, and he started doing all of these good things, great things, I guess. Would you forgive him and consider him a good guy, or whatever?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What if he like started going to like the wars and saving kids who are like seconds away from being blown up? He started developing all these machines that were saving kids from dying. Like he was just helping and helping and helping. With his goods not outweigh the bad, and make him a good person.
I've got nieces and nephews, dude. I don't know if I could forgive someone who looks at humans like meat at any point in their life.
I understand.
I don't know how to come to terms with if 10% of the shit they say was done to kids there was true. I don't know if I would be able to reconcile with you.
Despite how much good you do afterwards.
Correct. Pretty much ready to die on that hill. I don't think you're someone who I think you're worse than sociopathic tendency level of stupid to think it's okay to mess with innocence. Let's go. I like this example for innocence correlation. You ever been asleep and say you got like a buddy over in high school or something, and your buddy's spending the night and he wakes you up out of your dead sleep like over and over? You ever had that happen to you? You ever been trying to go to bed and someone wakes you up again and again?
Yeah, like I've been at parties, for example.
Yeah.
Super fucking loud. Yeah.
Well, no, okay, so, but like, I mean, that's kind of the same thing to a level, yes, but like, I'm talking people are literally physically, one dude or chick, whatever, is physically sitting there shaking you awake every time you fall into a sleep. You ever had that happen?
I have that situation. Yeah,
So
yeah.
do you know how your body feels in that moment? That you're literally like in that state.
Annoyed.
Well, yeah, but it escalates. It builds on itself, and you get louder and louder each time you wake up, right? You physically can't defend yourself because you're at a point of innocence. You're at a point of like understanding. You're just trying to relax, and someone's waking you up over and over again.
Well, no, I wouldn't say I feel like that. I start feeling like pissed off. Like I'm gonna like punch you. Stop touching
Well, yeah.
me.
So you're
Like,
going from this radical extreme back and forth is the point I'm trying to make. You're going from calming your mind and trying to relax and sleep and like thinking nothingness to instantaneous anger and resentment and just back and forth, right? That feeling right there, that's like one of the most big levels. Like I would think that would be like torturous if I couldn't sleep because of an external source. And it's something like I'm saying, you're going from this innocent state of calm and peace to extreme anger back to back. I think that would drive me insane quicker than anything. Quicker than like physical torture of straight pain. I think that would drive me insane faster.
Interesting.
And that's where I'm equating like the messing with someone's innocence thing. It's like the most heinous thing you could do.
Are you okay with older men dating younger women as long as they are above the age of 18? For example, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds dating rich 40-year-olds.
Yeah. When you say okay with it, what do you mean?
Like, you go to Walmart, get some groceries, and you see a regular couple, 36 and 34. Okay, regular couple. You don't think nothing of it, but then you walk down the cereal aisle and you see elderly gentleman, 42, who's old. Usually, like, this is an old guy. He's like, honey, baby, come on, I love you. Like, he's talking to his girlfriend, and she comes around the corner, and it's a 22-year-old girl.
No, I don't know, bro. I think ethically it doesn't make sense. And I think logically it doesn't make sense on many levels.
I heard a couple points on why older rich men go for younger women. One is they're clearly more view. I like your opinion on these points too. They say, well, one, they're much more beautiful. They've been through less stress, more purity, things of that nature. And they say that actually was the regular in times back then, 200, 300, 400 years ago. And, well, no, it was more than that. Whenever men used to go hunt and come home to their wives, remember that time era was? Like, men overall wanted a younger, more beautiful woman, basically. That's one of the reasons why I was told they do that. Another thing is, Andrew Tate said something like, men like younger women because they've been through less dick. That was another point. It's pretty funny. But those are the two main claims that I always hear when I see an older man with a younger woman. That, one, they're more beautiful, less stressed out, easier to manipulate too. That's another thing. Like, they like younger women because they're easier to, deceive, I guess. But yeah, like, how do you feel about these things? These 3 points. Do you think it's equivalent to being a pedo? Because most of these days, like, when we see an older gentleman with a younger lady,
Go ahead.
people like to call him a weirdo, a sicko, things like that.
Well,
would you pull that card?
I don't. First of all, I don't think they're equivalent to a pedophile. Okay, so I don't think they're at that level. They are taking a person who is innocent, but they're not determined in basic reality choices, right? Like, they don't understand why you shouldn't cross the road before looking. Like, they're grown, they're adults, they can make their choices, which is what we enforce as a right here, right? Those 18-year-old women, they're allowed to do that. So the thing is that the same way we were talking about arguing how politics is like a waste of time because we don't really make a lot of the decision in it, someone else does. It's just a waste of time, right? And that is too for the female, right? And that's where it's gross to me. That's where it doesn't make sense, because that female is only.
I didn't hear you.
I'm saying
I didn't hear the part. Sorry.
The female is wasting her time as far as finding a real partner, and on top of that, she's not getting any valuable life experiences for when that dude dies. She's now looking for someone who is within 10 or 15 years of her age again, as opposed to 40 in difference or more, right? So she's not learning anything. She's just doing it for money in 98% of
What
these
if it's true love?
situations. Even then, it doesn't objectively, logically make sense to benefit her, because within 15 or 20 years at most, she has now added those years to her life, and he is dead.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a good premise for now trying to start dating again, which is what inevitably happens with all of these situations. These guys are essentially renting a chick, literally with money, and then once they pass on, sure, that chick's going to even get more money out of following this guy who had a successful life, but it doesn't translate to her getting a better outcome with a new boyfriend. She's just now entitled and used to money and practiced literally nothing for this relationship that she is going to be inherently or a part of now too, unless she's going to be a sugar baby up until she's in her 30s or 40s, and then doesn't get that same outcome anymore because now old dudes aren't going to want her. This is literally nothing but a waste of time and a financial gain, not which one is going to... I mean, unless this dude is mentoring her on how to use that money to retroactively make more money for herself, the gain from it is literally nothing. And he's not going to mentor her on that because he just wants sex, and he wants to prance around saying he's got this young 18-year-old, who again is just wasting her time for a financial gain. Doesn't have any real practice on relationship logic and didn't learn anything beneficial to someone closer to her age range, right? All of it's bad in that way, right? There isn't good that comes from it other than the money.
So you're good friends with someone, let's say, who always dated someone very young. They were legal, but they were young. Would you continue to be their friend, or despite you guys always having the friendship, never did anything or said anything weird towards you or about the person they're with, but they always had a history of just dating younger women? Would you care? Like, would you draw the line? Or
I mean, again, this is your first example was extremely old. I would need a perspective of how young or old this guy is, because this is where that point I'm trying to make lasts and makes more sense.
let's say it's about, I don't know, 29. His girlfriend's 17.
Wouldn't care at all.
I'm at 17. I'm at 18.
18, right? I know what you're saying. I wouldn't care at all.
Okay.
I think this really comes into play, the shit I'm talking about, guys who are anywhere around like 55, 50 plus, that the woman is at an extreme disadvantage of any kind of gain other than financial. Because especially if he's on that younger end of the old age and she's with him for that whole 20 or 30 years, God forbid that he's alive, right? And she's 18 at the start of this. She didn't learn anything about her generational dating at all. And she did learn about how to date a guy who went from 50 to 90 years old and then died, gained 40 years on her life, had a good time maybe, and got to experience all these fruits of life, but never really saw like someone her own age and learned what that relationship could be like either. You're also talking that like this investment, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Again, dude, it could be love and it could be how this chick really feels, but she doesn't know that you're not getting the same experiences, bro. Right? If you're with someone who is your age and you go and do a zip line, you're the only one on that fucking zip line. The old dude's not doing the zip line, right? The old guy's not sitting there swimming with you, embracing sports as like a fun hobby. And now she's burnt the first 40 years of her life sitting on a chair next to him, doing also nothing. Like the physical side of life is now not even able to be embraced unless she's just going to the gym the entire time while he's, you know, again, in retirement phase doing nothing too. Like that's her full physical exertion. But any of the extreme stuff she has to do alone in that whole relationship. Do you not see how that could be like a daunting? This is all about the negatives that the chick experiences, but doesn't see until, you know, she thinks back on it 20, 30 years down the line and he's dead. You see how it makes him the weirdo now? He can't experience the same shit she can.
I personally think that, my opinion, I think old men like younger women because they shut up. They do what they're told. Older women would give an older man probably a harder time. And I think lots of men who are currently in relationships with younger women would probably agree with me. And why they go for the younger women, because they don't know much. They're just starting off life, basically.
Bro, I get all of the I get all the emotional reasons why the dude would want it. I'm talking about the chick being the victim, not even realizing it psychologically until 10 years later.
Probably not. They're not probably all for money. Some of them just probably didn't have fathers and love older men, and they have daddy issues.
Right, which is psychologically not helping them understand the next relationship once this dude dies. I get where you're taking, I get where you're coming from with the guy's perspective, but the chick's perspective is an all-loss situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's gross.
I get it.
That's why it's weird, because the chick isn't even thought about in most of these logics from the dude perspective. Like you're going about it right now. It's just not. It's not healthy for this chick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about money being the root of all evil, and we're embracing that as the reason to why it should be okay for this dude to buy a female, right? And she's not learning anything from.
But what if he's not buying him? What if he genuinely likes her and she genuinely likes him?
Then again,
there is no ball.
Because the same thing is still expressed. He physically cannot do 80% of the shit she wants to do physically, and I don't even mean on a sex end. I mean on like an experience end. It's the difference. You're not experiencing a sport or any kind of physical activity together for like 20 years until he passes on. And now she has never gotten that experience of someone at her own age and what dating or fun, good life experiences would be like with someone who's physically capable to do them with her. That's like a whole trade-off that she has to embrace.
Okay, what would be your argument for a 19-year-old man who wants to get into a relationship with a 32-year-old woman.
That's
Are
not
you
a
gonna
big
still hold
deal.
the same argument?
I still don't care.
That's not a big deal.
No,
But are you gonna still hold them to the same standard?
no.
You're holding a man and a woman. Are you gonna say, well, that's got to be some financial gain?
You're
there
talking
can't be
about an
love?
age range where realistically people can still experience things together, right?
Okay,
Like,
19-year-old man, 42-year-old woman.
again, if that 42-year-old woman is trying to embrace life and do more, then I don't see a problem with that necessarily either. At the same time, would I look at it as like a lifelong relationship? You're talking she's got maybe 30, 20, 15, 20 years of being able to do these same physical logics and a huge range of like generational differences mentally and experience. So I don't think it's necessarily a problem, again, for even the male and female in reverse age difference there. I'm talking about people that are talking like 30, 35, 30 years of difference that are closer up on the high end, right? Like a 22-year-old and a 50-year-old. You're telling me that those two can experience a bunch of stuff together that any other couple could do at the same age range. Like, you'd be lying. In 10 years, that dude is 60 and he is now wanting to slow the fuck down on anything crazy as far as physical exertion goes, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. I get what you're saying, but
You
who
tap
knows?
out.
Who knows?
You tap out on a bunch of aspects of a relationship because of that difference.
I get it. I get it. So I see lots of posts on my algorithm on Instagram where there will be a somewhat attractive elderly guy who's clearly in his 40s and 50s, and he will be, let's say, ripped. And it'll have gone viral, have like 800,000 likes and like hundreds of thousands of comments. And there'll be tons of young women from the age of 20, no, let's say fucking 16 all the way to 29. And this man has not exposed any of his financials. All he's simply showing is that he's in shape and he's an elderly man. All of the women in the comments, oh my God, daddy, this, that, please come kidnap me. So, and mind you, he's not showed that he's financially stable. He just showed that he's in shape. So, are you saying that those women in those comments are like, how can I phrase this? They're just, because basically what I'm getting what you're saying is that any woman who is 30 years younger than the man, who cannot experience anything apart from being groomed, there's no reason why they should be together unless she wants his money. That's kind of what you told me.
No.
Is that the same case for these
I'm
women
not
on these
saying,
comments?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that that's their biggest benefit from that situation, and that they don't. Okay, so that guy's 60 and he's ripped, right? That's the new hypothetical.
I want to say he was 60. No, there's no way. He was probably like late 40s. He definitely had gray hairs, but he looked really good for his age.
Okay.
And he was in shape. And the post was viral.
Let's say
Had,
hypothetically he's
almost
60.
1 million likes.
Let's say he's hypothetically 60 and he gets with an 18-year-old. I want extremes on this on both ends, right? And you want to say that young and old. So say he lives for another 30 years. Say he dies at 92. How old is that 18-year-old 30 years later?
38.
48.
48. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so she's 48 years old now. And he's dead. And say money was or wasn't involved, irrelevant. How many years do you think that those muscles and that experience that she got with him was valid? And as far as like doing anything someone her age could also do.
Assuming, you said this is hypothetical. Assuming that she stayed with him all those years, it must have been very good because she would have left in this hypothetical scenario.
No. So those muscles and that mentality and those physical abilities to go ride, again, hypothetically, the zip line or go on rafting excursions or do anything physically in normal life is what I'm saying. Not even sexually, right? That lasts for 20 of those years at most. Absolutely at most. When that guy is 80 years old, if he's not questioning his mortality to the level where he doesn't want to go rafting anymore and do like more physical things, he just wants to survive and keep this chick who's now 30 in his life, right? 30 and he's 90. right? Like that's
Mhm.
kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that you now are with this guy for 90 until say 92, and he's dead, and you're in your 40s. You're about to be 50, and that was your experience with your life in your prime youth.
But no one forced her to stay.
No, no,
If
no.
she
If she
stayed with
wanted to,
him-
yeah, she wanted to. That's fine. And I'm trying to explain to you that like the next part of that phase for the rest of her life is never to experience what that experience would have been like with someone healthy and at her age range, which I don't think.
But who are you to say that? What if they did go skydiving and do crazy shit? I've seen videos of older
Well,
people.
yeah, they would be
doing
able to do
stuff,
that
really.
for the prime of her life. I don't think it's wrong. I'm saying I don't think that you're wrong in that way, but I think that those same experiences with someone your age or within 10 years of your age would have been better, like arguably, especially with the fact that those two people that are 10 years apart are now getting to experience their old age together. If you're talking true love between her and this old man, or true love between her and a guy that's 10 years older than her, they get to be together longer. They get to do things together longer. If that guy is half as fit as the ripped ass old man was, they both can still experience another 20 years of enjoyable physical sides of life together. That's also kind of not fair in a logic as this chick who didn't understand the difference at 18 to get with a 60-year-old.
Mm.
I mean, think about that. Like, this person she totally loves will die 30 years before she's even close to even thinking about death.
Mm-hmm.
40 years. He's probably dead. This is assuming that the guy didn't have a heart attack from doing these physical things at 80 that you're talking about. Like, oh, he could just go skydiving. Yeah, and he'll probably shit himself fucking for the last 20 years of his life that she now needs to wipe. That's also an experience that comes with dating a dude 60 years old as an 18-year-old. She's literally his caretaker within the last 15 years of the relationship, or 20.
Well, that's the thing about love. We do things that sometimes we don't even like, but we love the person so much we'll still do them. I'm telling you, that especially in this day and age, there are lots of women who love older men, regardless of their financial
Yeah, and
stability.
they're dumb too, because they're young and don't get the differences of the logic I just explained, or look at it realistically until they're 10 years, 20 years into the relationship.
I guess probably. I don't know. I have to agree. I have to disagree, but I don't know. She didn't make some points, but
I think you're tripping.
I don't know. I get where you're coming from. Some women will come to the realization that this is bullshit, but I think some will be like, I don't care how you feel. I love you. I don't care how old you are. I know that you're gonna die before me, but I love you. I want you to be with me. I will take care of you. I will feed you. I will fucking change your diapers. I love you. I
Yeah,
don't care.
okay, but
Those are
again,
not really
that
for me.
realistic outcome is still the difference of losing on another 20 years of this 100-year life if
Yes,
you're
and
lucky.
some people are willing to do that because they love their husbands. I mean, just look at the Islamic and Arabic culture.
That culture
people-
culture is disgusting on this end. I don't even like talking
Yeah,
about it.
but that is a prime example of lots of women who go masked up in public, who honor their men.
It's
who
not
do
an
what their men
example.
say. They
It's
let
not
their men-
a prime example, brother. It's
I
literally
know, but
it's a conformity logic within their religious aspects that you die if you don't choose to do.
but still,
But still, brother,
This
you
is
just
what I'm
told you either you
saying,
do it or you die. That's force. That's not love, brother. That's convincing through
I know some of them
heritage
who love
logic.
women,
You're
and they're
tripping.
okay, but you don't
Absolutely
think they
tripping
grew to
that's
love
an
that
argument.
eventually?
No. Yeah, bro. If you sat there
They
and were
grew to
forced to
love
do
them.
something you didn't love long enough, you would have to learn to love it because it's an adaptation thing within human genetics. That's why we thrive as a society in general, because we're forced to learn. And when we do it well and we adapt as a human race, dude, it's just taking control of
But
those.
I can use that same argument with the shitty 9-to-5 job that I work. I fucking hate it, but I have
Absolutely.
to learn to love it to get through my day. So
Exactly.
you can't take what they do.
I
and say
can.
just because you're
Brother,
supposed to
they're saying you
do it. You
die.
can do the same thing with us.
Dude, they kill the chicks if they don't go through with it. This is a horrible
Okay,
argument.
and if I don't pretend to love my job and the people that I work around, I can lose my job. Fall behind
You can work somewhere else, bro. You have freedom in America. You can choose to do anything else.
And that's assuming other jobs will hire you. That's assuming that there's any
That's
other jobs.
assuming you look
buy
for
that I
other
wanna
work.
work.
Correct. You get that option to do. They don't, bro. That's why it's a terrible example. They don't get an option, brother. You do. What? If you don't go to work, you're dead? isn't an outcome at all. You just find another job. You just said it. Even assuming they don't hire you.
It's easier said than done, though.
Brother, it's not easier said than done when I have to do this or I die. Horrible comparison. Horrible example.
I think that's kind of how we view it. That's probably not the eternal truth in that culture.
I would bet my left nut you're wrong.
I don't think so. I don't think
Go
that's
Google
the
it,
case.
dude.
Probably certain cities.
Okay,
you
I'll
know how
Google it.
people
I'll Google it
misuse
so
and
you.
reiterate
I'll Google it so you
Christianity?
don't keep sounding stupid. I got you, bro. I like
You
you a
know
lot,
how
and I don't want you to sound dumb right now. So just stop arguing this for a second. Let me Google it.
Oh my god.
In what culture do let's say religion, do young women forcibly marry? Forced marriages are a human rights violation and are condemned by most religions, although they regrettably occur in certain cultures and communities regardless of religious affiliation. While in some studies, correlation studies for child marriage, certain religious practices, same thing, single religion mandates or university supports forced marriage. It's a human rights violation, what we're talking about. Instead of prevalence of
Forcing
child...
someone to marry someone they don't know. People were doing that in America before the whole European shit. Before Europeans came over, people were marrying people they didn't fucking know, and they grew to love them.
The prevalence
It's a
of
European
child and
concept.
forced marriages is often linked to factors like poverty, limited educational opportunities for girls, gender discrimination, discriminatory social and cultural norms, community pressure and beliefs around tradition or family honor, absence or non-enforcement of laws against child marriage, insecurity and conflict-ridden environments. Therefore, forced marriage is a multifactored issue driven by a combination of societal, economic, and cultural factors, and not solely attributed to any particular religion. That's how I read the question.
Thank you. So Christians do it too. Catholics do it. Practically every religion does it. So you can't put it on Islam. You can't. All religions take part of it.
I'm not even arguing the religious side of it, dude. This isn't even that part of the debate. It's more the fact that like you're equating the difference of the initial point with that, and it's not the same thing in any way. It's not. That's a forced choice. That again, even if you don't die, right? In a lot of societies, it's an honor thing, and that chick is now not even able to be betrothed to anybody else because she chose not to. If they don't just kill them, like it's
because she chose not to.
Which if she's allowed to.
I guess.
What do you mean you guess, bro? You could go get a job anywhere
I
else.
agree. I
fool.
agree to disagree. Yeah, but that's assuming that I'll get hired. I mean,
Brother,
just,
if you didn't live in
this
America,
is-
you might be able to argue a point here, but you do. You live in America, bro. You have every right to choose anything and do anything you want at any given moment.
to an extent, I mean, it's pretty hard to do everything you want when you're living paycheck to paycheck. But I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. Definitely.
Crazy correlation, brother. Can we agree on that?
What?
That those two things are inherently different in every way?
What? Like getting a job and marrying someone you don't want?
Yeah.
I mean, they have their similarities, but yeah, of course, they're completely two different things.
Right. And again, the main one being one of which is a forced system. The other one is you just choosing a different thing.
Yeah, but not everyone has the skills to get a different job. A lot of people don't have the communication skills, the social skills, and things of that nature. There's lots of people in America, probably half the population, who are working jobs they don't want to work by
Yeah.
force because they don't have the skills to get another job.
Which
So
is a
technically,
lack
it's not
of
that different.
inspiration as opposed to like you just can't.
Or social skills, you didn't have a high enough education, so you're limited. But
All
there's
those things are debatably learnable and like
true,
understandable.
but not everyone has the finances to go out and learn them. So
Exactly.
I
That's
mean,
a lack of
we're all forced to
motivation.
do something to an extent. Motivation? No, that's a lack of finance.
No, it's a lack of motivation.
No, it's a lack of finance. If
It's-
everyone had enough money to go to college, I'm pretty sure there would be more people in college. Right?
Why is college the only way you can learn something? You could take on an apprenticeship nowadays with anything, and most people will let you
Not
do
everyone knows that, which goes back to my point.
it.
Not
Again,
everyone has to
if
know.
you, well, yeah, there's internet, dude. This is a lack of motivation.
Not
That's
everyone
why.
knows how to work the internet.
That's
Not
not
everyone
true.
knows how to work it.
That's not true.
But
You
not
can
every-
keep, you can keep
ju-
saying
ju-
this shit while you
absolutely.
smile, bro, but you're wrong. I'm telling you, you lost this
Not
argument.
everyone. There are lots of elderly people from ages 30 to far on
10
who
years
do not know how to
ago-
work the internet. Like
10
every
years ago,
person.
you could have said that.
No, there are lots of people today who still do not know how to work this shit.
They don't know how to open up Google. You're high as fuck, brother.
Older people do not know. As quickly as
They
we
do.
at least.
And again, this argument is irrefutable in 10 more years that you're saying. You're talking dudes who are 40, don't know how to type in on a browser now?
No, they do, but not everyone. Not all of them.
Brother, what are you saying?
Some of them don't even have access to internet. You're assuming everyone has a computer. in
The
their
guy
home.
who doesn't
Everyone
have
has a
access to
reliable
internet is living off the
Everyone has
grid as a
one.
survival master.
No, some of them just don't want to be exposed to that bullshit. Some
That's
of them
not
will rather
true.
just live in a regular house.
You're
that they,
talking a percentage of
for
people.
example, grew up in.
You're talking a percentage of people on a whole new hypothetical that is in an under 1% category.
Hell no, you're crazy. You think every single person wants internet in their house?
You think every
Every
single person
elderly
who
person
wants a
does.
job doesn't want to use it to learn how to get one?
Those are two different things.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's what the argument is that people don't have the resources, I guess, or the knowledge to type in on a computer how to get the resources or the knowledge to get a different job. This is literally an inspiration argument and nothing else to do it. If you don't have the motivation or the laziness to even try, then, like, I mean, you shouldn't get a job anyway because you're not going to keep it.
That's terrible logic.
No, it's not. It's accurate
It's
as
terrible. I
fuck.
mean, you could be wanting to get a job just to feed your kids. You don't know
Right.
how the
And now
internet
you have
works.
inspiration
You
to
don't
go
know
get
how
on the
to use this
internet.
shit. But you don't care to know. You just want to feed your kids. How many people are down in fucking the poverty of Mexico who just work a job just to get ends meet for their family? They don't know what the fuck Google is. They don't know what Discord is. They don't know what this shit is.
You are tripping.
If you think everyone knows what Discord and screen sharing is, then you're tripping.
No, I'm not talking
Why
about
do you
that. I'm
think
talking about the
everyone
necessary
is-
resources to get a job. Nothing to do with Discord and
Yeah,
all the
to
other
get a job,
extra.
go down, do an interview for the job. But it doesn't mean that relates to you having the knowledge of a fucking God. Like, sure, you got a job, but I have a job, and there's still tons of things that I'm not knowledgeable of.
Right.